So the Senate Judiciary Committee is scheduled to vote on Brett Kavanaugh's Supreme Court nomination tomorrow. Although just about everybody expects Democrats will be able to do something tomorrow to postpone that vote for about a week. If the committee votes him through, Kavanaugh will then be scheduled for a full vote in the full Senate soon after. Now, there are two Republican senators who are seen as maybe being persuadable to vote no on Kavanaugh, at least a couple. Democrats, if they stand together, only need two Republicans to join them in voting no in order to block Kavanaugh's nomination. Senator Susan Collins of Maine, Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska both say they are pro-choice. Neither has publicly said how they will vote. Last week, as Kavanaugh's confirmation hearings got underway, a reporter for the Anchorage Daily News got this quote from Senator Murkowski on how she would be deciding her vote. Quote, "I've been very clear in terms of what my vetting process is going to be. So far, I haven't heard anything that is earth-shaking, something that hasn't been out there as a point of discussion before. But I know they really just started questions this morning." So that was the start of the hearings. That same day, last Wednesday, when Murkowski gave that interview to the Anchorage Daily News reporter in Washington, saying she hadn't heard anything earth-shaking yet, that same day, Senator Mazie Hirono was at the Judiciary Committee's hearing asking Brett Kavanaugh about this.
I think you have a problem here. Your view is that Native Hawaiians don't deserve protections as Indigenous people under the Constitution. And your argument raises a serious question about how you would rule on the constitutionality of programs benefiting Alaska Natives. I think that my colleagues from Alaska should be deeply troubled by your views.
My colleagues from Alaska, like, say, Lisa Murkowski, whose vote on Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation is still undecided or at least unannounced, and who might have a real problem at home with her Alaska Native constituents if she votes for a nominee who has just been exposed in his confirmation hearing as being absolutely on the record hostile to any programs that benefit them or even recognize them. And it turns out that strategy from Mazie Hirono looks like it's sort of working. This is at least now an issue for Lisa Murkowski at home. An official from the Alaska Federation of Natives, which is the largest statewide Alaska Native organization, told the New York Times this week, quote, "We view ourselves in solidarity with our Native Hawaiian brothers and sisters. The fact that Kavanaugh questions their validity tells us he's going to do the same with us." The Times reports that Lisa Murkowski was scheduled to meet with the Alaska Federation of Natives today, specifically on this issue. They are now outspoken against Kavanaugh as a Supreme Court nominee. And they are not a small constituency or a niche constituency for Murkowski. They are the most key supporters that she has. You might remember Lisa Murkowski, 2010, lost the Republican primary as an incumbent. She was forced to run for re-election as a write-in. Well, Alaska Natives, more than anyone, helped her win that unlikely write-in campaign. One tribal president joking that they helped most Alaskans learn how to spell the word Murkowski. That group's meeting with the senator they helped elect today is important, potentially vote-swaying news. But I got to tell you, even though we're sort of on pins and needles wondering how that meeting went, this crucial time with this crucial vote, with this crucial constituency, undecided senator when the Democrats only need two, and she's one of them. We don't know anything about that meeting today, except that it was scheduled. And the reason we don't know anything about it is at least in part because the Anchorage Daily News reporter who published that story last week on Senator Murkowski's Kavanaugh vetting process, her name's Erica Martinson. Erica Martinson was laid off yesterday. Erica Martinson was the entire Washington, D.C. bureau of Daily News. She's one of the only people in the state covering Alaska politics in Washington and the national implications of Alaska politics. They closed their D.C. bureau. They laid off their one D.C. correspondent. Now that her reporting is gone, we are all left. All of us in this country are left with a political coverage vacuum the size of Alaska and the weight of Senator Murkowski's vote on this nominee. Subscribe to your local paper and give them hell when they make bad decisions. That does it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Now it's time for The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Good evening, Lawrence.
Good evening, Rachel. And I'm so glad that you highlighted Senator Hirono's questions for Brett Kavanaugh because, we watched a lot of it live, but for some of us, we couldn't watch all of it live, and we caught up with some of it at different times. I caught up with Senator Hirono's comments after the fact and tweeted them as soon as I could. It for me, was really possibly the most stunning exchange in the entire hearing. What Brett Kavanaugh said about the Native Hawaiian peoples was just stunning. And the ignorance, just the blithe ignorance that he demonstrated in writing about that was just an amazing thing to see exposed.
And Mazie Hirono is meticulous. I mean, all senators have their skills and their talents and what they're known for. Mazie Hirono is really, really meticulous and specific in the way that she approaches everything that she works on in the Senate. And so when she was going so hard at that issue and his language on that issue, I think people are trying to figure out, like, is this just a Hawaii thing for Senator Hirono? Is this something that where is this all going? And then when she was able to turn his own language, her own knowledge of constitutional law, to say, yeah, this is a problem for my constituents who are Native Hawaiians. But for Native Alaskans, this is even worse, and Alaska needs to know about it. She single-handedly, I think, opened the country's eyes to that being a real problem in Kavanaugh's nomination and a real political problem for confirming him.
Yeah, and I didn't see it coming as it was unfolding exactly the way you described. And then when she makes that turn to Alaska, that was the great aha moment.
Yeah.
Yes,
Got
like
it.
now I know, now I get it. It was really amazing. Thanks, Rachel.
Thanks.